All right, guys. Thomas living in Japan, studying for the JLPT N1, do a bunch of shit, whatever. I'm going to talk about learning. Today, I'm going to talk about why you're stuck and whatever rank you are stuck or you're plateauing and whatever skill you're learning. And, the reasons why. And one of the reasons why, not the only reason why, there's several reasons. But one of the main reasons is that you are adverse to boredom. And in one of my previous videos, I did say, you should be learning things that are interesting, right? You should be having fun with what you're learning, and it's really important to have fun. But you also have to understand, if you log into say League of Legends or whatever game you play, and you don't do anything other than just play the game, playing the game is the highest level of dopamine you can get from actually doing the activity, right? The activity itself, the highest level of dopamine you can get is actually playing. So if your baseline is always the highest level and playing, then you're never gonna take a second and step back and do something that's slightly less boring, right? Because your brain is an overdrive and you're always playing. So you can never take a second and actually think and do something that's slightly more boring, right? So what you need to do is, especially before you start playing, because as soon as you spike your dopamine, you're gonna drop down throughout the day. If you spike your dopamine really early by playing the game, then you're not going to want to do anything else, because your dopamine will spike so high that you're actually going to drop down. And in order to achieve that same level of satisfaction and good feelings, you have to keep playing and playing and playing and doing more and more and more. So what you need to do is, before you start playing, my recommendation is take 30 minutes, and whether you're going to work on mechanics, whether you're going to review a replay, whether you're going to watch somebody's series of them smurfing and whatever elo you're in, whether you're going to watch a tutorial, but you need to stop and you need to critically think about what you're actually doing for 30 minutes, and you need to train your mechanics, whatever you want to do. Honestly, an hour is even better if you can get all the way to an hour, an hour of that, an hour playing, or 45 minutes of that, an hour and 15 minutes playing if you only have 2 hours, for example. Because it is the most important thing, don't get me wrong, is playing the game. It is the input when you're learning a language, but you also need to spend a little bit of time kind of critically thinking about what you're doing, so that you can start to pick up on what you're doing wrong when you're actually playing, right? Because if you don't actually take a second to critically think or go watch some content about the game itself or about whatever skill you're learning itself, then you're not going to be able to notice the mistakes you're making, right? So I guess the point is, if you want to notice the mistakes you're making, you want to actually improve, you have to spend some dedicated time focusing on finding those things, right? So go out of your way to do that. And doing that is usually a little less stimulating than the activity itself. So my advice is, try to do that before you start the activity itself. Anyways, guys, I hope that made sense. I kind of rambled a bit, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.